single season, yeah, like, I'm not meant for the streets. I'm a lover girl. So I'm sorry, that person, that man that's in your phone that keep texting you like, hey big head, like, what's up stranger? Tell him to leave. Tell him to go. In the midst of my healing journey, your girl has published a book. If you're a girly that loves to love and is learning to heal, this just may be the perfect space for you. Hi guys, my name is Cassidy Janae, your fellow mama, photographer, and author, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm gonna just get right into it. You know, I don't like the long, drawn out intros, so we're gonna talk about it. Singleness. Let's just say, dating has been a time. It has been a time, and I mean that in the most confusing way possible, because I really am just confused out here. Like, God said, you a strong soldier, bet. And I'm like, Lord, just, I'm not a big dog, like, I'm just a puppy, like, please, like, relax on your girl just for a little bit. So we're gonna talk about it. We are gonna talk about 6 ways to love on you during your single season. So let's just get right into it. So these aren't really in any kind of particular order, but the number one thing that I feel like should be first in learning to love yourself in your single season is to release who and what is not for you. Because I promise you, you cannot have a single season if you're holding on to people and things that are just not aligned for your life. Like, girl, you're gonna try and it's not gonna work. You can't go into your single season just having like lingering ties to people, because you're not gonna have a true single season. Okay, let me just say, I've done that, and the longer like I try to be like, I'm single, like I ain't messing with nobody, like phone dry, everything dry, like nothing, that energy is still there. People who still have access to you that shouldn't have access to you is going to mess up the healing that we need to do in our single season. And that's gotta go. Like, seriously, it's got to go. Releasing what's not for you is always, I would say, number one when you're entering that phase of singleness, because let me just say, bad energy lingers. People that aren't aligned for your spirit is going to linger. You're going to feel that even if they're not even remotely in your space, because people cannot be in your space, but they take up mental headspace. They take up space in your spirit, and it's got to go, girl. Okay, it's got to go. Even like, tell him to go. Okay, girl, it's time for him to leave immediately. Okay. The second way to love on you during your single girl season is to find your hobbies, sis. Find your hobbies. Leave that man alone. Leave those men alone. Like, block, delete, get out my space. Go into your hobbies. I feel like when we are in relationships or we're dating, we lose like all sense of autonomy and individuality, that we don't do things. We're like always with our person, always doing what someone else wants us to do, and we're not pouring into ourselves. Your single season is the perfect time to find what makes you happy. Like, what would you wake up and pour into during that day that's like, oh my gosh, like I feel like a child doing this, and not in like a bad way, but like your inner child lights up doing it. So for me, I would say I'm very creative, and I love doing anything that has to do with creativity. So I love to journal, I love to do little, I don't want to say arts and crafts, but like I'm trying to get back into scrapbooking, and I have a lot of Polaroids, and I got my supplies and stuff for that. I just haven't sat down to do it yet. For you, it could be painting, it could be joining, I don't know, a workout class on the weekends, it could be candle making, it could literally be anything. And if you don't know what your hobbies you have, experiment. I think your single season is the perfect time to really learn yourself. Not that it's necessarily hard to do those things in a relationship, but you don't have as much freedom per se and free time in a way to pour into those hobbies. Yes, you should in a relationship. You should have that space to focus on yourself, But when you're by yourself and you're single, you don't have anybody on your hand and call. You don't gotta like worry about nobody else but yourself. So that is a perfect time to really tap back into the things that you used to do or things that you've been wanting to try. So something I've been wanting to try that I don't know how I would be, but like okay, stomach, go off. I really want to get into kickboxing. Now, I don't know how I would do, but I do want to try. So I'm not opposed, but I guess we'll see. I really do guess we'll see. Just find what's for you. You might not know it until you try it. You might not like it, but at least you can say you tried to do it. Number 3 of learning how to love yourself in your single girl era is taking yourself out on solo dates. I know this is a popular topic nowadays on social media, is solo dating. When I tell you, I love solo dates. Old cast like me, I would not have even thought about doing a solo date because I have anxiety. I'm an anxious girl. Like, people, no, don't talk to me. Even still now, I have a little bit of social anxiety. But when I became single last year, I started taking myself out on solo dates. I started very small. I would go to a coffee shop by myself. I would journal. I would read. I would edit photos if I had, a photo shoot that I had to edit. And I would just sit there by myself, drink my coffee, people watch. I love to people watch. I'm a photographer. Like, I'm not a creep, y'all. I'm just a photographer. All right. I eventually went to restaurants by myself. I would go to bars by myself. I know that might be intimidating for some people, and you don't have to do that, but it was the summertime when I was single. Okay, y'all, so I was at bars sometimes, here and there. Not a lot here and there, but it was cool. Like, I would sit at the bar, get a drink for myself, get some food, chit-chat with random people, and it was a cool vibe. I promise you, it's not as intimidating as you might think. You might be thinking, oh my god, like, people are looking at me, like, but like, I promise you, girl, I promise, people aren't paying attention as much as you think they are. And if they are, own it. Go out, look good, and let them watch. Yes, I'm out here by myself, pouring into myself, treating myself, and what. So taking yourself out on a solo date is very important. While you're single, even in a relationship, you should feel like you can take yourself out on dates, and you don't have to wait around for a man to take you out on a date. Okay, I was not gonna sit around waiting for somebody to ask me out, to take me out, when I could do it myself, and then when that person does come along, yes, you have someone who you can go out with, who will treat you to dinner, to a movie, whatever that thing is. But I feel like a lot of times when we're single, people tell us like, oh my god, like, girl, go out on a date, you need a man, da 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 da. No, babe, no, it's okay. I promise you it's okay, because I've been there. I'm like, I want somebody to take me out, but I had to learn that it starts with myself. The love that I can give myself has to start here, because if I don't know what I need or what I deserve and the type of things I like to experience, I can't expect someone to know that coming into my space. And I have to have a certain level of standard for myself when somebody comes into my space and the type of things that I want to experience. And self-love isn't just solely when you're in a relationship. You should have that by yourself. So whatever that is for you, start small and just work your way up. I promise you, I promise y'all will enjoy it. I coming from a girl who like I said, sometimes has social anxiety, and talking to people sometimes, like, I can talk to people, but like going to certain spaces, I do get a little anxious. But the more you do it, the comfortable you'll be, and I promise you'll enjoy it. The 4th thing of how to love yourself while you're in your single season is doing the inner work. Y'all, I feel like this falls right under, releasing who and what isn't for you. And a part of doing the inner work is releasing who and what isn't for you. Because I feel like a lot of people who don't tap into themselves and don't know what they need in life, what they need out of a partner, what they need in general to be happy, is they don't know that they have to release certain people and certain things to even get to that place that they desire. For myself, I When I became single, I had to learn a lot about myself. I had to tap into my inner child. I had to learn what she didn't like, what she did like, the things that triggered me, the things that put me in a bad headspace. I had to learn what my shortcomings were. Oh, did I learn those things? Did I? Yes, I did. Indeed, I did. I'm glad for that space of tapping into myself and learning to heal and realizing the ways my childhood affected the ways that I showed up in relationships. And I think a lot of people don't realize the way you show up in relationships and life doesn't matter the relationship. It could be romantic, it could be platonic, all stems from childhood. And I'm not saying childhood is solely the reason of how we show up, but it is the foundation to how we navigate life, how we navigate people in our lives, how we navigate ourselves. Learning how to heal your inner child is very important work when you want to learn to get into healthy relationships. So for me personally, and I can go more in depth, and I plan to go more in depth on this topic of triggers and childhood trauma and the way it shows up for us in relationships. But one of the things I had to learn that I don't think I was fully aware of while I was in relationships is people pleasing. It kept me in things longer than it should have, because people pleasing, if you're a people pleaser, you know. If you're not, bless you. But if you are, you understand that it's hard. It feels debilitating at times when you have to speak up for yourself, when you have needs that aren't being met. Sorry, I'm having a little cold, y'all. But when you have needs that aren't being met and you need to get them met by your partner, it's hard to ask for it. And that was one of the things I had to learn, was asking when I needed something, asking when I wasn't being shown up for in the ways I needed, or just staying quiet at all was hard. Or speaking up for myself was hard. And I often stayed quiet, and people pleasing was one of the things I learned stemmed from my childhood, and it domino effect into romantic relationships and even friendships as well. It's not just strictly to one type of relationship, right? But that for me was something I learned on my healing journey, was that I was a people pleaser, and I am a recovering people pleaser. I'm getting so much better at it, and I really see my growth in that area. Setting boundaries is like the biggest thing as far as people pleasing, because people pleasers, we don't necessarily set boundaries, and if we do, we tend to bend them because sticking to them is hard and we don't like confrontation. So that's what I mean by doing the inner work, is realizing those things that are at your core that might not be the best when it comes to relationships and how you show up. So give yourself grace though as you learn those things about yourself. It's not going to be easy work. It's not always going to be pleasant, but I promise you it is worth it if you want to experience healthy relationships. The fifth one of learning to love yourself, or how to love yourself in your single girl era, is taking a break from dating. Okay? Taking a break from dating. I won't get too personal yet. We'll get there. I was in a long-term relationship and I dated some people after that, but I don't think I had a space where I wasn't dating somebody or getting to know someone. And like I talked about in my last point of inner child work, of why that was, and I think I showed up in a place of wanting connection so bad that I was seeking it elsewhere versus seeking it from myself. So I would not consciously go into dating people with the idea of, oh, I'm so lonely, I want somebody. I think that was more of a subconscious thought. But when I reflect on those relationships or those dating experiences, I realize like, oh, okay, that's probably what that was. Taking a break from dating really gives you a space of sitting in your solitude that I don't think a lot of people realize that they need. So I have found solitude to be the most peaceful and relaxing thing ever. like literally ever. The moments that I have of nobody texting me, calling me, wanting to see me, arguing, any of that stuff, like I have had like those times that I've had of just sitting in that space of me. Oh my god, the best. If you learn to sit in solitude, that really helps you realize your happiness comes from yourself and it doesn't come from external factors. So example, relationship, friendships, honestly also, but romantically, we're talking more so about romantic dynamics. Your happiness comes from yourself. And I feel like if we continue to attach the idea that we can't be happy unless someone is with us, you will always stay stuck in a cycle of filling voids with people that aren't aligned for you. And that creates this downfall of showing up in ways with ourselves and with people that don't deserve access to us. And we have to get to a point of realizing that people treat us the way we allow them to treat us. And the more you continue to show up in relationships with people that aren't aligned for you, people realize when you don't have a certain level of self-worth, and they will take advantage of it. Yeah, they will surely see it and they will surely take advantage. Being able to sit in a space of just you, yourself, and you. So me, myself, and I have learned that I truly am happy without someone by me. Yes, the addition of a partnership is fantastic, right? But I had to get to that part of learning about my inner child where she wanted connection, she wanted that closeness with somebody. And if you guys can't tell, probably not, and I'll do another video on this, I definitely consider myself to be someone that has an anxious attachment style, and I can get more into attachment styles in a later video. But yeah, definitely realized I had anxious attachment, and it makes sense why I would show up in relationships the way I did. And when I realized that I fit that box, and I don't identify with that as my personality, but a lot of the ways I would show up, and sometimes still do, is tied back to that anxious attachment and seeking closeness with a partner and or anybody, a friendship, whatever that is. But I had to realize that I can be just as happy by myself. Learning to sit in solitude and taking a break from dating and just checking out from that completely is totally okay. You're not forced to date. You don't need to feel pressure to date if you don't want to. And the sixth and final thing, and not the only thing, but just for this video, the sixth and final thing of learning or how to love yourself in your single girl era is learning to self-express. I feel like when I became single, I started self-expressing in ways that I didn't in my relationship. Like, I began to experiment with my clothes, with my look. I dyed my hair. Like, my hair has been, this is more of like a coppery ginger color, but when I dyed it last year, it was a bit brighter red or so. I'm trying to see. I started to self-express. I got a couple piercings. I got tattoos. Nothing crazy. I just have, one little tattoo here. But got my belly pierced. Like, it was just, I was feeling like, because I felt like I lost so much autonomy in my relationship, I felt the need to self-express. And I feel like I feel myself being more outspoken, more vibrant, more like myself that I know was always there. I just didn't express it in my relationship, and it felt hard to do so. And I think that I've been learning to find my style even more. Like, I've been like experimenting with outfits, with clothes, and I'm like, I feel like this is me, and I feel like I'm coming back to myself, even though it's been a whole, over a year and a half. It's like a year and a half, something like that. I don't even know, y'all. This has been too long. Self-expression is a big part of your single season, because you don't have, even if no one in a relationship should be telling you what you should and should not be doing, wearing, what activities they tell you can and cannot enjoy. Do whatever makes you happy, okay, girl? Please, like, it's you. This is your life. Self-expression is an important thing. It can be with clothes, it can be with hair, it can be with the activities you participate in. It can just be your overall energy of expressing that part that you might so often keep kind of suppressed inside, just because of people telling you how you should and shouldn't act. Block out that noise. Do you express yourself? And I feel like when you express yourself in the ways that you've always like truly wanted to, you start to attract people that are meant for you. People see your energy, people see your light, people see your fire that's inside of you, and they will be drawn to that. But that's where discernment comes in, and learning who should have access to that beautiful energy that you do have. The people that are meant for you will be drawn to you and they will attract towards you. Just be cautious of who you allow into your space. And one more thing before we go. In the midst of how to love yourself in your single girl season, like I talked about with hobbies and self-expression and learning to get back into things that I've wanted to get back into, in the midst of my healing journey, your girl has published a book, her first poetry book. I healed through this book, and it's something I felt called to share with you guys. So it is called For the Lover Girls. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, I'm a lover girl. Like you'll find out more. But For the Lover Girls, I just published this November 1st, so she's freshly new. But it is a book having to do with love, heartbreak, self-worth, finding yourself, your inner child, finding your purpose in life. And it's just a collection of poems, just writing from the soul that I feel like a lot of you guys might resonate with. And let me see if I can find a page. I also have journaling pages in here, so guided journaling prompts. There's about 15 or 20, one of the two, journaling prompts in here with questions and a place where you can heal your heart. You can just release the things that have been heavy on you. For the Lover Girls is available for purchase on my website, To the Girls That Need It. It will also be in the description down below. And I hope you guys find healing in what you read and that you feel seen by my words, because that's what I aspire to do, is to make people feel seen and heard by the things that I have to share. So this is all personal experience through dating and relationships. So this is my baby. This is my heart right here. Thank you so much for listening. If you've listened this far, my name is Cassidy Janae, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.